So frequencies are the building blocks of all of creation. In our origination, this is where we started from, was that original frequency, which started rippling out and creating more frequencies, more nuances, in different directions in frequencies. And so where we come from, creation, is made of frequencies. Where we are here on planet Earth is frequencies. Us in human form, frequencies. Nature, everything is created of a frequency. And it all has a signature. So we all have different frequency signatures. And the key is why we want to know about frequencies is that our signature is where we get to define ourselves. And how we define ourselves is the frequencies that we are resonating. Imagine like a note that you pluck on a guitar or hit on a piano. If that note is off tune, it is not going to be, it's not going to sound good. And in the same way, we're not going to feel good if our frequency is not in perfect attunement. So we need to know about frequencies because we need to understand what we are resonating, what frequency we are resonating. And that's what I teach. So we're going to uncover that. So imagine frequencies like a ladder. We could see at the lower part of the ladder, we could be carrying heavy frequencies that could be fear, apathy, lack, low self-worth, depression, anxiety, anger, shame. These would be, if we were living and resonating with those frequencies, we could feel, someone might say, oh, that person feels very heavy, or we might feel very heavy. And as we climb that ladder, we would see that we come into more of a neutrality, more of a balanced state where we start to elicit that feeling of peace, of stillness, of compassion, of humility, of grace, the greatest kind of love, unconditional love, autonomy, sovereignty, and that oneness. And so it really is this orchestra of choices that we have. And we've just collected these frequencies. Some of us, come in with many of the higher frequencies just naturally just running through us, and some of us just come in with more burdens and feel those heavier frequencies. But the good news is that all of us can release the frequencies that no longer serve us. And how we do that is by clarifying and releasing in our, what I call our electromagnetic field. So arm's length all around us is the field that we resonate all these frequencies in. And what we start to do is edit those frequencies out. And we do that by becoming quiet and becoming aware of what frequencies we're actually running. And when we become aware of the frequencies that we're running, we actually, so the separation happens as we get still and present in the quiet. So that awareness comes in, we get still and present, and then we're able to become more of a witnesser of how we're living, how we're resonating. And because of that, we get to see and witness how we're doing. We get to say, hey, that's not me. That's not my natural state. That's not peace. That's not unconditional love. That's not me in my sovereignty. Something has to go here. So that awareness comes in as we get still, as we get present, and we start to literally be able to just remove all the things that aren't us. And we don't even have to do it like that, like remove. We can just say, everything that isn't me, it can go now. And we'll see that we actually just, that ladder, we find that we just jump into that higher part of who you are. Very effortlessly, actually. It's all about presence. It's all about awareness. It's all about discernment. And it's about taking an action where you get to truly edit that part of yourself that is no longer serving, so you come into what I call your natural state. Okay, your natural state is always in those higher frequency resonances. Someone could ask me, I have a lot of fear coming up, and how do I not succumb to frequency, um, that frequency emotion? And so, what I said to her and what I want to say to you is that we become present. So, I remember when I was going through my challenges many years ago, and as those challenges were rising up, and many of those frequencies like fear and feeling like you're being attacked, or lots of anger around, lots of things coming through. And so what I did was I connected to my spine. I didn't go actually to the outside world. I connected again to my body, because when we're feeling fear or feeling those lower frequencies, it's like we're disconnecting from our body. We go somewhere else. So our body's here, and our consciousness goes like over here, like maybe right beside you. But that's a terrible feeling. And in that space is where fear can erupt, anxiety, depression, all that stuff, because we're disconnected out of body. So the whole goal here is to become present and embodied again. And so for me, when those feelings would come up, I would connect to my spine. I would imagine myself just going up and down my spine. I would connect to my breath. I would connect to the bed that I was lying on. I would, if I was, in a room with one of my pets or whatever, I would connect to, there's a pet beside me. I would connect to all the things that I knew to be true. I would connect to the thoughts that were in my head. I would connect very deeply to what I was feeling. So we don't run away from what we're feeling. We actually want to explore what we're feeling, because that's the only way we're going to get to the bottom of it. So I'm feeling fear, I'm feeling anxiety. It's like, thank you. Thank you, my teacher. Thank you for showing me what is here right now. Thank you, fly, for flying around my head. So we acknowledge that, and from that presence, from that embodiment, from that stillness, I don't wish to experience this anymore. I know that my natural state is calm, is peaceful, is actually neutral. I know that my natural state is very creative and flowing, and it's not stagnated. It's not stuck in those lower frequencies. So it's really about, we become aware of it, we bring it to the surface. We don't shy away. We never shy away. We're courageous in this act. We don't shy away from it. We understand it. We stare at it. We understand it. We maybe walk around it from time to time, and then we call it out. We call it out in our presence, in our neutrality. We call it out. And then the higher frequencies, what happens is, because you're present, it will naturally knock out the lower frequencies. They cannot exist. You cannot be present and in fear. You cannot be present and feeling like life is depressing. You're one or the other. So the whole goal here is to get to that neutral space again, where you're naturally just yourself, and then you can truly call things out, and you can hold your resonance, and then from there you can grow. So from there you can climb that gorgeous frequency ladder. So from neutrality, you can be like, I want to understand and know what passion feels like in my life now. I want to explore all my abundance. I want to explore my gifts. I want to explore the upper echelon of these frequencies, so I can understand my birthright. I can understand my natural state. So at that point, when we move from that neutrality, where we start calling out and editing and releasing these lower frequency resonances, we can start to climb that ladder. And that's where the going gets really beautiful, walking our path, because we really get to curate our path from there. So we might wonder, why do we need to let go? Why do we need to let go, and how do we let go? So imagine that I was a lifeguard. So imagine that, and we had to tread water with this cement block. Imagine that you're at the bottom of a lake, or a deep, deep pool, body of water, whatever it might be, and you've got this weight, and you're weighted down, and so you would be holding on to these frequencies that are really not allowing you to experience a really great quality of life. So the reason why we need to let go of the frequencies is because we become buoyant then. So when we let go of fear, imagine that I'm letting go, say in pieces, brick by brick, I'm letting go. And so the fear gets released so I can raise my frequency resonance. We let go of lack, and then we get to raise. So imagine that physically, imagine me doing this and doing this. All of a sudden, we're going to spring up to the surface of the water where we can breathe freely, where we can see the sunshine, and where we can experience, where we can feel again the possibilities. So we need to let go of the frequencies that are holding us back. They feel like weights or chains. They truly do. And we need to let go of them so we can experience buoyancy. We can experience joy. So we can experience, levity. And they really do come, like the way I read people and situations is the heavier frequencies, they really are heavy. You can say, oh, that place felt really dark. There's a reason, because those frequencies, they resonate so slow. They're like molasses. They're like the darkest, dingiest kind of molasses. They pull you down and you feel really weighted. And once you start letting go, you're like, oh, I feel clearer, I feel lighter, I feel more spry, I feel like I'm able to actually finally see what I was running inside of me. Sometimes we don't even know what we've been running inside of us because it is so dark and dank. So we need to let go so we can actually get a sense of where we were and where we want to go. Becoming limitless is a state of being. When we climb that frequency ladder and we start holding a beautiful frequency resonance, so that would be in creativity, in passion, in in oneness, in stillness, in presence. When we are able to hold those frequencies, we become limitless because there's nothing any longer standing in our way. We're no longer blocked. So I call that flow state. So when we are able to start resonating, so we're beautifully resonating, it's fast, it's clear, it's spontaneous, it's so present. We're resonating, our electromagnetic field is resonating in that frequency. We become limitless. It's not, we don't have to learn it. We don't have to be taught it. We are naturally it. That's your natural state. So you come into flow state and your natural state is limitless. You would see no limitations. There would be challenges thrown in front of you all day long. I have challenges. Every single human being has challenges. That's going to happen, but it's the way you perceive the challenges that really shifts. When you become limitless, you don't perceive a challenge as negative, and you don't perceive it even as an obstacle. You just see it as, this is the road, this is my path, this is how my day goes. It's like we have a challenge, we rise to it, we rise above it, we transcend it. And that is just a way of being. And so everything that we experience, and it's not to say that these things are easy, but because of the perception to where you see the challenge, it's like you become a seer. You become the ultimate observer, and you're able to see all the pieces of the puzzle and how they fit together. And you're no longer threatened by a challenge. You see it as just a puzzle that needs to be put together. Those kids that can just really quickly do blah, 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 and they do the Rubik's Cubes and everything. They just, oh, look, it's a challenge. You would see it like that. It's like, of course I can do that. Of course I can do that. So it becomes exciting. It becomes, it becomes interesting to be able to to create in your frequency signature of limitlessness, because you have a gift that no one else in the world has. And when you're clear and resonating in this higher platitude of frequencies, and the challenges come in and you're able to see them from that higher perspective, you get to give them your, you know, your essence, like what you love, the strike that is you, the flavor, your flavor. And it feels so good to be able to put your flavor in its highest ability into something. So if you were an artist, if you were a business person, if you're a teacher, a parent, or whatever, for you to be able to put your most beautiful choice in place because you had that choice, because you were unlimited, that's an amazing thing. And the thing is, you'll have many choices. You get to choose from many things. So in our day, we have so many choices from that higher perspective, from that oneness, looking at the challenge. It's like, do I want to do pink today or red? Do I want to do this flavor or that? And you get to really give it what you're feeling in that moment. And the next day you might be feeling something totally different and give it something totally different. But the point is that because you're no longer feeling limited, you feel like you can truly do that. And because you're resonating that, and people feel that your certainty, that you're really locked in and loaded, and that your aura's in locked and loaded, your frequency, everything is like really humming along. They want to come and create with you. They want to come and show their brushstroke, show their preference. Like you start accumulating really great people, places, and things because of your flavor, and because you're clear, and because of the frequency that you are holding, and that you now are living a limitless, natural, flowing life. It's an incredible way, and it's how we're all meant to be. We've just all forgotten. Most of us, not everyone, many of us have forgotten. And so now's the time, again, especially like I'm seeing so many young people, they're like questioning things, questioning what is going on, why can't I do this? Why can't I have that? And why can't I? Why? And this is the answer why. You believed in something that wasn't true. You believed in something that wasn't true. So we've got to drop that. We climb the frequency ladder, we come into our limitless nature, and then that's where the fun starts.